to film in this area. I was like, oh, this area will be great, the sun's facing me. However, what I did not think is that when I'm sat in front of the sun, my eyelashes are falling off, I'm going to be squinting a lot. But I don't have anywhere else to film right now because I'm at my parents. I am figuring it out for the next 3 months. Hopefully during those 3 months I'll find a better place to film. But today, I want to talk about I guess controversial kind of topic, and that is my hauls and how I thought they were haunted. Like, I 100% fully believe that they were haunted. So the story behind this starts at the beginning of the school year when we just moved into halls. We hadn't been in halls long at all. And a rumour started the dogs here. A rumour started that a girl had... I don't want to make light of this situation. I don't want to make light of this situation at all. It is a very, like, difficult situation, what happened. But there was a rumour that went round that a girl had committed suicide in halls. And to begin with, we was like, oh, it's just the older kids trying to, like, scare us a little bit and all that kind of stuff. But actually, somebody had a look. We found out that somebody had committed suicide in halls, and we didn't really look into it much further. We had to live there for the next year. We didn't want to, like, scare ourselves thinking, like, oh my gosh, is this really happening kind of thing. As I said, I don't want to make light of the situation. If you are going through a difficult situation, seek help, please. But now that we're not in halls, I did a bit more research, and that, as I said, there was a girl that committed suicide. What had happened was that she had been sexually assaulted. I'm not sure how long before she moved into halls, but she had, and then 10 months before she moved into halls, she'd filed a police report on it. However, the fact that her assaulter, or whatever they're called, could possibly get away with it, terrified her, to the point where she just became depressed and committed suicide. And she hadn't been at uni long either when she did it, which then, like, leads more into the halls being haunted, because she did it in halls. She hung herself in her room. And I fully believe, I'm a person that believes in everything. I believe in ghosts, reincarnation, heaven, hell, whatever. I believe in everything. And I believe that a person goes to wherever they believe they will go or want to go. So if a person believes that they're going to be reincarnated, they will be reincarnated. And I believe in ghosts that get stuck, like, you know, like in the human world. And this girl, she had moved to uni with, like, it was a fresh start for her, so I fully believe that something could have happened, and because of all the turmoil, like, with the ongoing police report and everything, that she could have, like, been a ghost in halls. I don't know if that makes any sense. I get it might sound crazy, but yeah. So what makes me believe this? There was multiple things that happened when I looked back on it, had no explanation for it happening. The camera fell over. It happened when I first moved into halls. What happened was I moved into halls about a week before everybody else in my flat did, so I was on my own for a week. And a couple of days after I moved in halls, I could hear someone walking up and down the hall outside. So for, like, a couple of days I thought, oh, somebody else has moved in, I just haven't moved into them yet. However, it wasn't until people started moving in that I realised that that wasn't someone walking up and down the halls. And it wasn't someone next door either. Having heard both how loud someone walking up and down the halls outside my room was and how quiet, but you can still hear them outside the halls, and you can hear the doors open and closing, like, to the flat next door to mine, not outside halls, the flat, like, outside my flat, the flat next to mine. But what I was hearing was louder. It was not as loud as people who lived in my halls when they open and close the door. And not only that, as I said, I could hear people walking, a person walking up and down my corridor, and which you can't hear from, like, the flat next door. And when everyone else just moved in, next door, but then like maybe not. There was also a similar situation with furniture being moved around. My room was next door to the kitchen, so whenever someone was in the kitchen, I could hear them like clear as day, and I could hear them like what they were doing, whatever they were doing. And for a while, like every now and again, I would hear like furniture being moved around, and if someone moves furniture around upstairs, you can hear that, but obviously like not that loud. You can hear it, but not that loud. And if someone moves it, obviously in the kitchen, as I said, you can hear it. And it happened a couple of times where I'd hear people moving around the furniture and it would be louder than upstairs. However, when I walked in the next morning, it'd be all the same. So I just assumed that it was like when my friends had like other friends around and they'd moved the furniture around and then moved it back. But then when I actually, like, after a while, I started questioning people like, oh, did you have friends around last night? I didn't hear anybody. And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, oh, that's weird. People move around the furniture. And then they'd be like, oh, it was just upstairs, but it was always louder than upstairs. And then, so they're the two instances that carried on like all the way through living in halls, what would happen. However, there were some, like, it just, there wasn't anything big that made me like, oh, that's weird, until about a week before we were all moving out. It was like the ghost was saving everything until just before we were about to move out to Spooksall. I say Spooksall, I'm the only person that was like, oh my gosh, we're haunted. But nobody else seemed to have not encounters, but kind of encounters like I did. But yeah, about a week before I was in halls, and I was in halls alone. There were a few people that had gone on holiday but were going to come back just before I left, and then there were just other people that weren't in at the time. Like, I was getting ready to pack to leave, so, but everyone else wasn't, so they were out doing their own thing. And the kitchen had windows, obviously, that you could open and close. One of them was like a door. One of them was just one big window that opened like out like into the kitchen. And this particular morning, I'd gotten up later than everybody else. They'd all left. There were nobody was in halls, and I walked into the kitchen, and I thought, geez, it's a little nippy in here. I'll close the windows. And I walked back to my room, and then I came in later during the day, and they'd been reopened. And I just thought, oh, it's one of my flatmates, Toby, has probably just opened them. However, when I spoke to my flatmates later in the day, I'd found out that the same thing had actually happened to Tilly. She had closed the doors, and then she'd gone in to find them reopened. And when we spoke to everyone else in the flat, nobody else had actually like gone in and like opened them. They'd all just somehow managed to reopen on their own, which was weird. It might have been just somebody messing around with us, we don't know. However, we were closing them and they just kept on opening. There was another situation later on that day. It all happened within like one day, and I was spooked the fuck out. But I had gone outside to take some stuff out to the big bin outside. I'd came back up and I'd heard pots clattering. Like, it sounded like if you'd got loads of pots and pans piled up to a big pile, and then they all just fell everywhere. That's what I heard, which in all like, it's not unbelievable that would happen. So I heard all these clattering, and there was nothing, like, we had cleaned, there was nothing there that could have made that sound, and anywhere that could have made that sound was still in the exact same position as it was before. Bearing in mind that, like, I'd been in and out all day, so I knew it would smell like that day. So that was another spooky situation. And another one, that same day, they all happened on the same day, we had bunting up around like where the roof meets the wall, like where that corner is, like we had bunting up as decoration. And I had noticed a couple of times that even though I'd shut the windows and the door, the bunting was still, like, I could hear it and see it being moved around and rustle, like if it was in the wind, like proper like rustling, like it was in the wind. And there wasn't anything that could have made it do that. There was no wind being like, or breeze in the kitchen, as they had shut all the windows and stuff, but that was still happening. And then the biggest one to me was I had in the hallway, I had an area where you put your clothes on to dry, and I put all my towels on there, and they'd been on there a couple of days. so they were dry and everything. One of them that I had on there was a flannel, and this flannel, so there's my door and then the air is like next to my door, and this flannel was the furthest away from my door. It was on the area the furthest away, and I'd been outside to a supermarket to pick up some last bits because I'd like no food, and I came back, walked into my room. I was in my room for a second, just put everything down, walked straight outside my room, and on the floor, out, no, nothing, it wasn't creased, it was laid perfectly out in front of my door, was this flannel. The flannel that was the furthest away from my door on the area, so it couldn't have hit. If it had fallen off, it wouldn't have been able to travel through the area to my door. It would have probably just fallen on the floor. And not only that, but if it had fallen through the area onto the floor, more likely than not, more likely than not, it would be all like rustled and like creased and like just not neat. But it was laid neatly on the floor, and it couldn't have been anybody in the flat because A, there was nobody in the flat, and B, if it was, I was only split second. The door was shut second before I opened it again, so if there was anyone doing that, I would have caught them in the act of like putting it on the floor. So that really spooked me, and when I told everyone about it, they all kind of like made a joke out of it, but I fully believe that my halls was and still is haunted. I never really wanted to talk about it before because like Jessie V talks about it all the time in her videos, and she always claims that things are getting worse around here. So I didn't want to like make it so that more things would happen in halls. So I wanted to wait until I moved out of halls. But now that I have moved out of halls, I've just been talking about a lot. I've told to talk about it. As I said, I've been getting with my parents right now for 2 months. So hopefully that means more videos. But at the same time, I've been 2 weeks not really filming this video I'm filming. There isn't really anywhere I can film that's good for lighting without me like squinting the whole time, but I'm gonna try and figure it out. I'm gonna try and figure out a good background so there isn't this corner of the dining table here. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, follow me on social media, all the links are down below, and I'll see you in my next video.